Good evening, YouTube. Welcome back to my channel. This is Mike, and I'm here to give you a rundown of the final countdown of the Kino-Lorber Summer Bankruptcy Sale, which is what I like to call it. The second package that I ordered came last week, so I will show you what I got. Before I do that, I picked this book up at Barnes & Noble, blind buy. Check out the title. Why It's Okay to Love Bad Movies. What do you think about that? I think this will be right up my alley. It's classified as ethics and philosophy, which I don't know, how philosophical can it get? But Matthew Stroll is the author, and I looked through some of the titles of chapters. The Good, the Bad, and the Good Bad. That's the first chapter. Artists' Intentions and Bad Movie Greatness. A Beautiful Rainbow of Badness, and one of them is, I love this one, Nicolas Cage and the Limits of the Critical Imagination. Nicolas Cage and the Limits of Critical Imagination. That alone is worth the price of the book. And finally, Bad Movies and the Good Life. So I don't know what to expect from this, but it looks like it'll be a lot of fun. Okay, let's get to the movies. All of these are Blu-rays except for one. I picked up one DVD. Let me show you that one first. This is an English film called Accident, starring Dirk Bogarde, Stanley Baker, Jacqueline Sasser, Vivian Merchant. And it's directed by Joseph Losey and screenplay by Harold Pinter. And the combination of those two, you pretty much know what you're getting here. It's a very, I watched this the other night. I'd never seen it before. Very dark, depressing film, which is difficult to figure out, but no surprise there. Definitely worth picking up. I picked up 3 film noir box sets. Film noir: The Dark Side of Cinema. This is 14. Well, it doesn't matter what the numbers are. Anyway, 3 films in each one. One Way Street, starring James Mason, Marta Torrin, and Dan Duryea. Undercover Girl, Scott Brady, Alexis Smith. I've watched all these, by the way. Pretty good films. And finally, Appointment with a Shadow. George Nader, Joanna Moore, Brian Keith, Virginia Field. All pretty good flicks. I was surprised. I wouldn't classify a lot of these as being actually film noir, but they are sort of noir-ish, crime and human dramas, all that sort of thing. Definitely worth seeing. This is 12, box set 12. And we have Outside the Wall, starring Richard Basehart, Marilyn Maxwell, which I just watched tonight. Quite good. This is Hold Back Tomorrow, John Agar and Cleo Moore. And I haven't watched that yet, but that's a great combination of performers. And Undertow, Scott Brady once again. Tough guy Scott Brady, the younger brother of Lawrence Tierney. And I have seen this online, but I'm glad to get a copy of it. So, all right. And finally, this is box 13. And we have Spy Hunt, starring Howard Duff. I have not seen that one yet. This is Step Down to Terror, which I have seen online. Glad to get a copy of it finally. And this is, I just watched this tonight too. Ray Denton and Colleen Miller in The Night Runner. Very interesting little psychological study. Okay, so those are my film noir additions to the collection. You can never have enough noir in your life. And here's the box set that I got. 3 films by Edgar G. Ulmer, all of which I've seen before. 2 of them I already had copies of. We have Beyond the Time Barrier, The Man from Planet X, both of which I own on DVD, and not terribly good copies. And the other one is The Amazing Transparent Man from 1959, all of which are really cool movies. And this one, The Amazing Transparent Man, let's see. I saw that 1,000 years ago. There was it was retitled Master of Terror or Master of Horror or something, and it was on a double bill with another movie called The 4D Man, which I watched the other night. So anyway, just childhood memory. So let's get to the Blu-rays, and some of these I have seen, as I said. For example, The Strange Love of Martha Ivers, very cool strange film noir. Barbara Stanwyck, Van Heflin, Elizabeth Scott, and Kirk Douglas from 1946. And I just watched this fairly recently on YouTube for free, but I wanted to get a good copy of it. So here's an Alan Ladd film called Lucky Jordan, which was made in the 1940s. I think this was his first film right after his big success in the Blue Dahlia. No, The Glass Key. He did This Gun for Hire and then The Glass Key right after, and I think this was after he became a major star. He did this film, so I've never seen it. The Eyes of Laura Mars, Faye Dunaway, Tommy Lee Jones. I have never seen this movie. Counselor at Law, directed by William Wyler, starring John Barrymore, from the early 1930s. I heard a couple of my friends talking about this. My friend Dan Day wrote a piece about this on his blog, and I think I also heard, I think it was Roger Kirby or it might have been Mike Dagg talking about this. I'm not sure, but I'm curious about it. John Barrymore. Here's a science fiction flick, The Day the Earth Caught Fire, which I'm sure I saw at some point way back when. Who is in this? Janet Monroe, Leo McKern. Okay. Anyway, it's an English film. Thunder Bay, great cast of actors: James Stewart, Joanne Drew, Gilbert Rowland, and Dan Duryea. I don't think I've ever seen this. One that I have seen a long time ago, Cecil B. DeMille's The Crusades, starring Loretta Young and Henry Wilcoxon. I do remember seeing that a long, long time ago. All right. The Strange Door, starring Charles Laughton and Boris Karloff. I've never seen this. And one of my friends was talking about this tonight. 80s Made Consumer showed this on his Kino-Lorber collection video. So check his video out, by the way. Here's a classic horror film, Dead of Night, which a lot of people know about. Wonderful film. I have a copy of this on DVD. Saw this decades ago as well and always loved it. So I wanted to get a pristine copy. Double dipping, again. I try not to do that too often, but sometimes I just feel it's necessary. Audio commentary by film historian Tim Lucas, who was a very intelligent and brilliant commentator. Okay, Tim Lucas. Here is Montgomery Clift, Robert Ryan, Myrna Loy, and Dolores Hart in Lonely Hearts, which I have never seen. Clift is such a great actor. Here is Road to Bali, Bob Hope, Dorothy Lamour, and Bing Crosby. I have a copy of this on DVD. It's from Alpha Video, and it's not very good condition, so I wanted to get a good copy. I like the road films very much. Here is one of the best films from the 1980s, Tender Mercies. Robert Duvall, Tess Harper, not Tess Hopper, Betty Buckley, Wilford Brimley, and Ellen Barkin. Fantastic movie. Okay, and here's the rest of them. Here's a movie I think I've seen decades ago again because it seems very familiar, but I've heard so many good things about this. I had to get a copy. Little Fugitive, I guess, which I guess non-actors, a real-life kid doing this sort of odyssey. I don't know much about it, but I've heard good things about the quality of the film. So a little kid thinks that he killed his brother or something like that, and he runs away out of fear. So anyway, Little Fugitive, right? Here is another film I've seen a long time ago, Elmer Gantry. Burt Lancaster, Gene Simmons, Shirley Jones. Lancaster plays a grifter pretending to be an evangelist, and Gene Simmons is a real-life evangelist, although she's probably, I don't remember all the details. I think she turns out to be a phony as well. I'm not sure. But, yeah. Okay. 1960. Shirley Jones played against type. She was just, the beautiful young singer from Oklahoma, and she plays a prostitute in this and blew everybody away with how good she was, and she got an Academy Award. Here is Backtrack, directed by Dennis Hopper, who stars in the film along with Jodie Foster. So I just had to see the two of them together, see what that's all about. Plus, I'm a big Dennis Hopper freak. Here's a documentary called The Atomic Cafe, which I remember seeing way back when it first came out, which was sometime in the 1980s. Can't remember for sure, but it's just all about the aftermath of the dropping of the atomic bomb in Japan and what happened to the world afterward. This would go good for a lot of people who have just seen Oppenheimer, because it's pretty much the same story in a way, just different angle, I guess. But yeah, for all of us who grew up in the 1950s under the threat of the next nuclear bomb, right? Here's a Western that I don't think I've ever seen. James Stewart, Audie Murphy in Night Passage. Okay, who directed this? I have no idea. Anyway, also Dan Duryea, Diane Foster, Elaine Stewart. Okay, and Brandon DeWilde, who is in Shane. All right. Next up is, I think this is a film noir as well. I don't believe I've ever seen it. The Turning Point. William Holden, Edmund O'Brien, and Alexa Smith. Wow, great cast of actors. Wow. Here is a Fritz Lang film that I've never seen. You and Me, starring Sylvia Sidney and George Raft. Great actors. Sylvia Sidney was a beautiful, wonderful actress in the 1930s. Man, really something. And George Raft is good sometimes. Here's another road film, Road to Rio. Bob, Dorothy, and Bing. And so I sent away for this Blu-ray, and I just realized today that I already had a DVD that I sent away for one of the sales last year from Kino-Lorber. But anyway, so now I have 2 copies of it. Here is an English film called Room at the Top. Simone Signoret, Lawrence Harvey, and Heather Sears. Signoret won the Academy Award for Best Actress in 1958 or 59. And I had never seen this before, but I watched it a couple of nights ago. It is absolutely incredible. One of the best dramatic films that I've seen in a long time. Wow, just great acting by everybody concerned. Simone Signoret, Lawrence Harvey, just heartbreaking, really beautiful. Okay, next up is a Haley Mills movie, which I've never seen, The Truth About Spring, where she stars with her father, John Mills, and James MacArthur. And I believe John Mills directs. No, he doesn't. I'm sorry. Anyway, The Truth About Spring. Haley Mills, the whole Haley Mills era back in the 1960s when I was growing up, it just completely passed me by. I don't think I saw her maybe more than one film. This is the film I was talking about earlier, the 4D Man, starring Robert Lansing and Lee Merriweather in her film debut. This is a very cool movie in color, science fiction, weirdness, and yeah. Okay, anybody seen this? This features a very young Patty Duke, right about the same time when she was about to go on Broadway and star in The Miracle Worker. She was only about 12, 13 years old when she did this. Okay, so this is young Patty Duke before she became a major star. And finally, this is a film that I do remember seeing 1,000 years ago on TV. They Came to Cordura, starring Gary Cooper, Rita Hayworth, Van Heflin, and Tab Hunter. And it has a slipcase for all of you slipcase freaks. So I'm looking forward to seeing this again. Don't remember a thing about it, but They Came to Cordura. And I don't know what they did after they got there, but they came. Anyway, thanks for watching, folks. Let me know. This is it. I'm going to start saving money for the rest of the year. Yeah, he said. Sure.